veterans. Roll call. Oh, start with the, yeah. Good place to start, right? I'm gonna try to get out. 1, 2, 3.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Did we turn our mics on?
We did not.
Yep, you did.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Kathy, you'll have to teach me. Ooh, this is too loud. It's feeding back.
Okay, let me
Um,
start on it, Sean.
Yeah,
it's a little bit.
It's pretty good hum.
1, 1, 2, 1, 2. Maybe just turn yours off. Yes, 1, 2, 3. You hear me through the speaker? Yeah, I still hear like a reverb. Not quite as bad. True. Okay. So we'll do a roll call. Director Valentine
here.
Director Coleman
Here.
Director Morgan is here. Director Allred
Here.
Director Barney
Here.
Okay, all present. Next one.
You want to add that item?
Yeah, we're gonna approval of the agenda with the addition of a resolution for honoring Dick Rattan.
There is a need to take action regarding, there's a need to take action. That justifies us adding.
Yeah,
So would that be?
yeah, I just stated it. I'm asking for an approval of the agenda with the addition of.
Yeah, but you have to state why.
Okay. Thanks.
I think, don't you, Scott?
Yeah, so this issue arose subsequent to the posting of the agenda. We did not learn of Dick's passing until after we had already posted the agenda. And we would like to honor former Director Rattan today by adopting this resolution. So we are asking the board to add it to the agenda as item 4C.
Okay, thank you, Scott. So do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those
I'm
opposed?
sorry.
We got to do roll call.
You have to do a roll call.
Okay, roll call vote. Director Valentine?
Aye.
Director Coleman?
Aye.
Director Morgan's aye. Director Allred?
Aye.
Director Barney?
Aye.
Okay. Passes
Thank you.
unanimously. Okay, so community announcements and public comments on items not on the agenda.
We have Plain Crazy Saturday coming up this month, third Saturday, I believe it's the 18th, May. And we will have the commanding officer from the Roseman. It's not the JROTC, it's the California Cadet Corps. And they will be speaking and their color guard will come. And they are the youth group of the California National Guard. So I'm sorry I don't have a flyer with me, but I did send some out. I'd also like to make a statement about Colonel Rattan if I could, but I need my glasses. Our Mojave Air and Spaceport friend, Dick Rattan, has flown west. He served as a tactical air command fighter pilot during most of his 2 decades in the Air Force. He flew 325 combat missions in Vietnam, 105 of them as a member of the Super Sabre Forward Air Control, or FAC Misty Squadron. While on his last strike reconnaissance mission, wouldn't you know, over North Vietnam in 1968, he was hit by enemy ground fire, forced to eject from a flaming F-100 Super Sabre. He was later rescued by the Air Force's Jolly Green giant helicopter team He said he was never so happy to see a helicopter in his life. But before retirement in 1978, as a U.S. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel, he had been awarded the Silver Star, 5 Distinguished Flying Crosses, 16 Air Medals, and the Purple Heart. You are only limited by what you can dream. That was a favorite quote of his. The man who completed the impossible round-the-world flight in 1986, years ago, this December, in the Voyager aircraft. That would have been 38 years ago. Hard to believe. Round the world, nonstop, unrefueled, in 9 days, 3 minutes, 44 seconds. The aircraft is now at the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. But we have a 1/5 scale model hanging in Legacy Park of the Voyager. It actually flew off of one of the runways. It was a radio controlled model built by a guy in Ohio. And he brought it out here and flew it for Dick and Bert Rutan, and their dad was with them that day. Our hearts and prayers are with his brother Bert, his sister Nell, his wife Chris, their children, grandchildren, and the grandchild. I am deeply saddened, but he was, he battled for over a year. And it was a type of pneumonia that just destroyed his lungs. And it was so sad. So, Dick, we miss you, and we'll always love you. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody, any other community announcements, public comments, not on the agenda? Okay. We'll move on to item 3, consent agenda. Staff recommends approval of the 2 items with one motion. Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Roll call vote. Director Valentine.
Aye.
Director Coleman.
Aye.
Director Morgan. Aye. Director Allred.
Aye.
Director Barney.
Aye.
Okay. Unanimously carries. Item 4A, Scale Composites Display Aircraft Agreement.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Scale Composites has agreed to loan the Model 400 Swift aircraft to the Mojave Air and Spaceport for display at our static aircraft display area off of Airport Boulevard over by our Geek Guardians. The display will cost the district approximately $15,000 for the design, permits, and construction of the display stand. Our recommended action is to approve the acting CEO to execute the letter of agreement between Mojave Air and Spaceport and Scale Composites and perform the work to display that aircraft.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the item? Anything from the public? Okay, roll call vote. Director Valentine?
Aye.
Director Barney?
Aye.
Director Allred?
Aye.
Director Coleman?
Aye.
And Director Morgan, aye. So it passes unanimously. Action item Bravo, Everbridge Master Service Agreement. I'm going to recommend, go ahead.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Before you today is master service agreement and a quotation for replacement of our mass notification system with Everbridge. Due to issues that we've been experiencing that continue with the current system that we're using, it's best interest of public safety that we make this change. There's a fiscal impact of $19,858, which is budgeted. Excuse me. And staff recommends the board approve the acting CEO to execute the master service agreement and quotation.
And there's an annual fee of,
It'll be the same.
15,000.
okay, okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yes, it will be.
Yeah.
slightly less.
I get the notice. Are we running on it now? Okay, yeah, I like it.
No, we're running on a different system.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the cost of the current one?
If I remember correctly, but it's very limited on what it does,
It's $5,000. In 2023, we paid 5,000.
3,000, something like
It was
that.
5,000 in 2023. When we started it in 2017, it was 3,500.
So I don't know the details of all the nuances of capabilities, but I feel like we're buying some enterprise solution for something that's way more capable, or, I mean, that's a lot of money for a notification system.
so it's going to be more than just a notification system. It actually crosses a lot of things off the list that we were looking for originally when we went with the current vendor of OnStall. What we're using right now is very basic. We're able to get out very basic messages to the tenants. With Everbridge, we'll be able to get out additional information to include maps if needed. It's also going to add incident management and reporting, which we currently don't have with the system that we have now, which will tie in all of the district employees into the same software.
Reporting meaning it sends an SMS or an email.
It depends on how the subscriber signs up for the service. That is up to the subscriber.
But basically, it's SMS, text, and or email, depending on the choice of the individuals. How
Yeah,
they
it can
want-
be SMS,
how they want to
text,
be notified.
email, phone call.
Okay.
There's even options for those folks that still use it. It can still send a fax. It can do TTY communication. And I believe it'll even send.
Yeah, but which ones do we need? We need to be able to send faxes?
I know faxes, but this is the guy who.
Yeah.
As well. So I will, thank you, sorry.
Yeah. I
Other
mean, how many
features.
people are requiring a TTY?
We can't exclude them from being able to get it.
Who needs it? How many people,
I
how many of the
don't have-
clients need a TTY?
I don't know off the top of my head, but it's not something that we can, it's not a feature that we can add on. It's included in the base package.
Yeah, I understand that, but you said we have clients that need that. Did you not?
No, I said that was an option.
It's an option. So what we need though is just text and email.
No, we have to be able to provide it by TTY
To who?
to anybody that may need that sort of
Who
communication.
needs that? Who do we currently provide that to? That,
We don't currently provide it, but should we have an individual that requires the use of it, we need to be able to provide it. Well,
this
here-
is something that I'm pretty bad. I don't want to get in nitpick, but I spoke to Chris. I've dealt with something similar for a nonprofit that used a database program that just sent through emails and things like that. And not only that, but it was free, and it provided feedback on who received the emails, whether they were actually, like it would say, you'd send the group email, and it would say 59 emails sent, 57 completed their, because it tests the path to make sure the domain is valid. It says 37 people opened the email. 22 of them clicked on the link attached in it, which would be to a map or something, so that's all free. I mean, I'm not sure this is something that needs to cost $20,000. I'm pretty sure that if there's one client, like the sheriff's department or something, then you pick up the phone and call them and you say, hey, we've had an emergency. You're going to do that anyway. So I don't know why we need the TTY capability, or if we do, then we should readdress it. So I'm going to recommend for now that we table this or not, or if we want to, we can vote on it. I'm probably going to vote no, because I think with some research, we could find much cheaper solutions. I'd like some time to talk to you Ariel about this, and Chris.
So I
We
would,
have something in place now. It's not meeting our needs. It's been apparently unreliable, but my understanding is that when it was previously managed by IT, that they didn't have any problem with it. So I don't know where the problem lies, but
so we've
I feel like we've jumped into the middle and then the end of a conversation
Yeah.
where the rest of us have not been included in the beginning, so
Right.
if I may.
Sure, go ahead.
Really, I'd like to start off with a discussion on, okay, what are the capabilities of the current system? I know there's a reliability thing, but, let's parse out the discussion just so it's digestible for everybody in the room and anybody who may be listening. So the capability difference between what we have now, what it should be, not necessarily what's reliably been doing, but what in theory we've been paying for currently versus what this would provide. So I've heard some implications, it sounds like visibility to send maps, et cetera. Could you just give me a summary of the differences in capabilities, please?
So with what we're using right now, again, it's very basic. It's just getting basic text information out or like a robot recording voice call out. The new system, we're going to be able to include a lot more information. There are options in the alerts to have responses from the recipients, like check-in, that sort of thing. If there are like evacuations, say from the test sites, we can leave maps on best routes to take from specific locations, areas to avoid, that sort of thing. On the other side of that, with the incident management, one of the biggest struggles that we come across, and I'm sure Arlo can attest to this as well, is when we do the tabletops and we go over, okay, here's what we do, steps A, B, C, and D, during a given incident, when it actually comes, it's very easy to miss very small items in that response that are crucial to the response. And with this system, we'll be able to set it up where each individual within the district will have specific assignments for any given response, and it will give them a checklist on their device to make sure that they are capturing everything that needs to be done. And it will also give an overview to whoever the incident command or management is for the airport, not only to check on the status of the employees, any equipment, status on the response, basically just at any given moment, a broad overview of where everybody is, what everybody's doing, where we are at in response. And then when everything's getting done, we close the response out. It compiles all of that information for everybody and produces an entire report for the whole incident. So it's a time saver and guidance when it comes to it.
Okay, just to make sure I understand the differences. So when discussing, it sounds like at a high level, this new system would allow back and forth communication in certain structured formats, whereas what we have now is just one-way communication. But also what is communicated is different. So it sounds like just pure text or voice recording is what the first can do. And the second can do, you said different types of information. Is it a capability to send links? Is it servers? Is it embedded photos?
I don't.
So let me step in a little bit here. So I have worked with Everbridge in the past. I've worked with many different notification systems. For those unaware, I've been in several versions of emergency management for the last 20 years. Worked with Everbridge over 2 different entities. So I am very familiar with the system. One of the things that this system can provide that is crucial is not only getting the information out, but the speed at which it can get it out. For instance, different services, I won't name their entire list of competitors. There's oftentimes that, for instance, if we had an emergency on the airfield right now and we needed to evacuate, I could get the text minutes, sometimes hours before perhaps Diane is, just because she's on a provider. So, some provider. Just for example, if Diane were to be, we had an incident once where we had to evacuate due to an emergency. And fortunately, I was within the realm and I was able to have other means of communication. I got the alert the next day. And so with a service like Everbridge that is able to prioritize those communications when we have such activities that may require the evacuation of personnel here, it's important that we utilize a service that has those priority messaging. and I could get into the technical details at another time. Another thing it does is, for instance, if we have a large incident here in which we need to provide an emergency operations center, something for myself and Chris and Carrie to immediately communicate, organize, and address the incident as it's happening. We're able to do conference communications in which we can provide up-to-date information with not only between ourselves, but emergency responders throughout the field as the incident's unfolding. One of the things that Chris was mentioning is the polls. It's an unsafe system. So say we had to evacuate building 58, everybody would get the alert, a poll would pop up and you hit
Everybody,
in the building.
does that mean everybody in the?
Who works within the building. So for instance, all of our staff. Say we had a fire.
Okay, let's say it's in building 78,
Okay, so if
not
we
our
are,
building.
if they have either people designated to enroll or we enroll everybody within there, and they can put in, yes, my team has evacuated as in safe, that goes to our incident command chat and we can see that the building is empty.
So right now, we just contact
Right now,
a
we,
designated person who's the safety officer at that company for
right,
that temp, right?
if we can, yes.
Well, and there's probably backups as well,
Yes,
right? Like Scale probably has, Jason and then someone else and then someone else with all three. I mean, when we had issues in flight test,
Mhm.
there was, 10 people at Scale that got informed. So if someone's on vacation or out, still 9 people, of which probably 8 of them were at work at that time, were alerted. And I don't know, it seems like everything you've described could either be handled by a 3-ring notebook, a database, or a, Outlook. I mean, not Outlook. A lot of these things can be done
so
you can preset up and I get it. There's probably things I'm naive about, but I've worked in flight tests and I've worked in environments where we have safety procedures we have to review and a book that has the procedures outlined. You can have a website with a link to it. So when you send out this text or message, you just send them the link and the current version is always available.
Director Morgan, the one thing that I heard so far, and I still have more questions, that has me mostly sold on this, is priority messaging over network. And that it's not something that you can compensate for except for a service that has that priority. And yeah, all the other bells and whistles seem nice. Like, okay, so buildings that aren't necessarily ours, like, okay, they, perhaps we'd be stepping on toes of our customer to just be an option. But they may want it, they may not, but priority messaging has been on board with this. The other series of questions I have though, right, so we're talking about checklists, and it sounds like a process management system, which, right, that's never a fire and forget, just like, an ops vehicle that requires, regular maintenance, updating those checklists, making sure they fly in the currency, that's going to take curation by an individual, be it you or somebody else, which, okay, now that's somebody's job to do. If it's supplanting something we already have, perhaps that's a time saver or no, or maybe it's such a greater capability that an increased amount of workload would justify it. But I just want to throw out there, right? Like, I know you have experience with this system, but right, so staffing at the current task level can absorb that possible increase in workload.
Absolutely. And one thing that is nice about Everbridge is the training tools that are provided for our staff to be able to quickly adopt the system. One thing that does benefit us greatly as well is they are in the top 25 airports in the nation. And so they have pre-built templates and items designed specifically for airports. Now, I have also used it at the zoo. So I know for some of our more unique operations, we'll call it, we're very easily able to adopt it. I have used this for a hydraulic failure in a 737-800, and I have used it for a line escape. And each way we've been able to provide adequate response. In emergency management, we call it the first 80 seconds or critical in any sort of emergency. And being able to get out the information and be able to receive that people are safe in that time. That's one thing when I've looked at other similar softwares have really failed. And so that's why, I continue to advocate for a system such as this. Yes, it does come with a bit of a premium, But we have had, since I've been here, which is now going on 14 months, I've had 3 accidents at this airport. Fortunately, they were very minor. Unfortunately, everybody was safe, in which our on-solve system has failed, and I could not guarantee the immediate evacuation or safety of the personnel involved until we were physically out there, which I have one, I believe it was 7 minutes for the crash in August.
You can have, I don't question that this system is capable. And that maybe we need a lot of these features, but they seem like they don't do anything we couldn't do for a lot less than $20,000. In fact, do most of it for free with just our own admin setting up a system. So for instance, you could have a redundant thing where you could have another cellular contract, someone who's designated that works here or something, that has a pre-made email list with everything. It's the backup. So if for some reason something doesn't go out, you just copy paste the message and hit send, and it gets texted to everybody in a group text and says, this is from Crash Rescue at Mojave Airport, or from Nicole at the desk, or whatever. You know, my point is there's simple things like that. Managing and updating procedures and things like that, we really don't want done by an outside entity. It should probably be done in-house.
Well, we will designate our procedures on how
Yeah,
it's.
but I mean, they don't really provide any value. My point of they're managing it, which just means they're saving it on their server. I would think.
That
So I'm
seems
saying, like,
pretty
you
important.
know, like an emergency procedure
Yeah.
is something we should have hard copies, digital copies, everyone, all the tenants should have,
Mhm.
and you just refer them to that. Like, you know, when we have tenant meetings, you hand out the updates, you know.
One thing that is a benefit of this, and I see your point, I do understand, and I am not naive of the cost here.
Yeah.
One thing that is benefit is if it is the 2 people on night shift, taking fire, sleeping, and they have that emergency, this is easy enough for that person to handle, as well as make the notifications that we need to make, for instance, to FPSB or FAA, depending on the type of incident. What we need when we have an emergency, especially an after hours emergency, is something that has an ease of use, that we can guarantee that when we open the app, it actually sends the message, and that we can use to immediately contact personnel, be it in Cal City or in Tehachapi, get us on a conference in which we can see and manage the incident remotely as we arrive. And with the different, and there might be a solution in there, but in the way that you're describing, it is more than the bandwidth of the one ops specialist or the one fire person to be able in an after hours emergency. Even during hours, we have a lot more people here that we are making sure are safe as well. And we can't always have everybody dedicated to managing the finite stuff.
Yeah.
That can be automated with the system and that we can guarantee. With emergencies, time is of the utmost importance, and we need to be able to have a way that we can guarantee that we can get the right people there and get the people that aren't affected out.
Okay. But if it's after hours, chances are there's very few people present. Something blows up out by the rocket site, no one's there. And it's going to be cordoned off, and it's going to be handled by the fire department, sheriff's department, and people in the administration once they get out there. It's not like everybody needs to go out there or even know about it. So, I mean, I could come up with a lot of scenarios. I'm just saying, there's your hypothetical is no one's around. Well, then no one needs to be informed, arguably.
And there is
You know,
one critical thing that I am missing, and I should have led with this. I do apologize.
Sure.
We do need, as part of our deconfliction, in which we utilize for our Spaceport license, we have a mass notification system. And one of the things that we need to ensure is that it is functioning.
Mhm.
So that is another reason that we chose to go look for another.
So I'm immensely disturbed that with the 3 accidents we've had in the 14 months we've seen, our emergency notification system has not worked once. It sounds like, at least in spirit, we are non-compliant with our spaceport license, and we have a very urgent need to comply with that, to show good faith. Now, whether or not this is the Everbridge is the solution forever and ever, I don't know. But I do like the capability difference. I don't know that we'll end up exercising all of them or that all of it is necessary, but I've heard a couple of key things that are different enough between this and the previous one that I can see why there would be a delta in cost. If we do go with Everbridge today, how long will that lock us in for before we can change our minds and find something else?
This cost is for 1 year.
This is for 1 year. So, and there isn't an extra, is there like a $5,000 startup fee or something, or is it we pay?
2,500.
2,500.
Initial setup.
Yes.
Okay, and so, and then, all right,
When you're doing this, the probationary period.
I don't think so.
Just 1 year.
It's just 1 year, unfortunately. I will, on personal, of course I can always advocate, for a particular company. This is something that I have seen successfully used in the past across many different organizations. So, hopefully we will be, and it's so funny, trying to advocate for a system such as this, kind of to Diane's point. It's almost one you wish you never have to use, but when you do need it, it's when you.
And I'm not saying we don't need the capability. I'm just not sure you need to buy some enterprise type solution. It's so expensive to do the job with. We could set up internal protocols. We've got crash rescue and people like that, but that is their job is to handle that. We've got a safety/security department. We've got other administrative, we have a very large staff here. And so my argument is we should, we have an IT department as well. And so being all of that, I would think we could set up the capability and it's tailored just for what we need with sufficient redundancy. So
I would be shocked if we had the capability.
we don't have to replicate everything that does, but we have to do what meets our needs.
And as someone who, again, has worked, I wish I could count, and it's unfortunate that I can't count the number of incidents. I do not believe that this is something the district can handle, not just from a bandwidth perspective. And I hate to say it this way, but even just in a knowledge gap, I don't think that this is something that would be able to be developed in-house and effective.
Yeah, but they're not going to come out here and put out the fire or hose down the toxic chemical, set up the barricade. These are just a notification system. So it's not like it's not like we're giving up safety. It's just a process a service they provide. So it's like when you buy home security for a development complex or your home or something. They won't actually draw a gun and address a burglar in your house. They'll just call the police for you.
And
So I feel like this is a middleman like that. I'd like to maybe discuss it further with you.
absolutely, and I would love to be able to discuss, please set up a time. I'd love to be able to discuss this more. I can talk forever about emergency management. It's something I've been very passionate about for a long
Clearly
time.
it's something that we bear some responsibility here in the airport for, in addition to all the things. Also, they obviously have liabilities and responsibilities ethically and morally to address accidents and things that they create in their testing or day-to-day operation as well. It's a shared responsibility. I don't know that these guys will provide any additional safety except for informing people efficiently, which I'm not sure we can't do.
I heard coordination, communication with being able to provide feedback,
We're
running
not gonna
emergency
answer any
checklists.
questions.
Yeah,
It's
no,
going to be directed back to us.
it's the medium through which it occurs, which I don't understand why we're being so dismissive of. The servers and IT support for that is non-trivial. And especially with if we get priority communications to be able to send out messages of an emergency nature. No, you cannot set up a database or Excel spreadsheet. You can't SQL your way out of that.
And that's,
Perhaps there are free solutions out there, but what I'm hearing is we have a huge capability gap that I really wish I had been on my radar sooner. I'm all for exploring other solutions, but if we have something that are two experts in the room who have expertise on emergency response and telling us this is a good solution, especially with first-hand experience on it, then I think we should at least go with this in the short term and perhaps direct the staff to explore less expensive solutions and maybe codify a set of requirements that would be less gilding of the lily if that is in fact the case.
And if I may, one of the other benefits of going to a third party to manage a notification system, incident management system, is the redundancy that this company has, we would never be able to touch. They also have a 99.7% uptime. I believe they have servers in multiple locations. So if one goes down, there is going to be a backup. God forbid if something happened to our infrastructure and we manage something here on one of our servers, we're dead in the water. Wherever we go with a third party like this, chances are pretty good their services are still going to be up. And as long as we had at least cell phone service, we'd still be able to get the notification or the information out.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion in the public?
I have a question, if I could, from Mr. Coleman.
Go ahead.
If we sign up for a full year, what's the total cost going to be then?
For the first year is $19,858. After that, it goes down by $2,500 a year. There is a $100 for the first year.
Total cost is 19,000 something then.
So we're going to be like 17.2.
Okay.
After the first year.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, we've had a motion and a second. Roll call vote. Director Valentine? Yes. Director Coleman?
Aye.
Director Allred?
Aye.
Director Barney?
Aye.
Director Morgan? No. So it carries.
And please, Director Morgan, for touch base, I would love to discuss the system more and ease some of your questions and concerns.
Okay. The third for Charlie is the resolution for Javier Air and Spaceport at Rattan Field to honor Dick Rattan. Someone else want to read this? Because I've had some respiratory issues lately. Cough all over it.
As Kathy had said in our public comments, unfortunately, earlier over the weekend, we had lost a pioneering legend here at Mojave Air and Spaceport. We have been able to draft a resolution of Mojave Air and Spaceport at Rattan Field to honor Dick Rattan. Whereas it is with profound sorrow that we recognize the passing of a pioneering aviator, an exemplary leader, and an integral member of our community, Lieutenant Colonel Richard Dick Rattan, retired. And whereas Dick Rattan, born on July 1st, 1938 in Loma Linda, California, embarked on a remarkable journey, leaving an indelible mark on the world of aviation. And whereas his daring spirit and determination propelled him to achieve groundbreaking feats, most notably his historic, nonstop, non-refueled circumnavigation of the globe in the Voyager aircraft, a triumph that captivated the imagination of millions worldwide and secured his place in aviation history. And whereas he proudly served his country as an Air Force pilot, flying 325 combat missions during the Vietnam War, including 105 high-risk classified MISTY operations. Whereas throughout his career as a pilot, entrepreneur, and visionary, Dick Rattan inspired countless individuals to pursue their dreams fearlessly and push the boundaries of what is deemed possible. And whereas his legacy extends beyond his achievements in aviation to include his role as a mentor, philanthropist, and advocate for STEM education, encouraging future generations to embrace the spirit of exploration. And whereas Dick Rattan's impact on the aerospace industry and his contributions to the advancement of aviation technology will continue to resonate for generations to come, serving as a testament to his enduring legacy of courage, innovation, and resilience. And whereas his achievements earned him many accolades and awards, including, in part, the Silver Star, 5 Distinguished Flying Crosses, 16 Air Medals, the Purple Heart, the Louis Blériot, medal, being named an Eagle to the Gathering of Eagles Foundation, being inducted into the National Aviation Hall of Fame, and being a recipient of the Presidential Citizens Medal of Honor. Be it resolved that we at Mojave Air and Spaceport at Rattan Field extend our deepest condolences to the family, friends, and colleagues of Dick Rattan and honor his life, his achievements, and his enduring legacy with profound gratitude and admiration. Be it further resolved that this resolution be inscribed in the records of the district and a copy be presented to the family of Dick Rattan as a token of our heartfelt sympathy and respect. Scott.
Good job, Scott.
Good job, Scott.
Well written.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Go back.
Motion to adopt the resolution.
Second motion. Okay. Any other comments? Okay, roll call vote. Director Valentine?
Aye.
Director Coleman?
Aye.
Director Morgan? Aye. Director Allred?
Aye.
Director Barney?
Aye.
Unanimously passes to include this resolution into the public record. Okay, now we're on to reports, section 5, Director of Administration.
Good afternoon. These are the financials for March of 2020. I applied for 3 FAA reimbursements, so we received those for our outstanding projects, as well as our fuel sales. As you can see, fuel sales, we sold 138,000 gallons in the month of March, so busy month for fuels. Operating revenue, we're at 78%. Operating expenses, we're at 70%. So we're still on track, should be at 75%. So overall, still doing good 3/4 of the year through. AR only have American Verde and High Desert Wireless still. They've vacated the properties, but continue to make small payments. So we just keep them on there until.
I did explain, but if
As far as I know, I believe they are. But yeah, because they've been making payments, but very small payments. Hoping by the end of the June we can get these wrapped up.
they pay.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Pay it. Yeah. Yep. It's a small balance. Yep. And then fitness centers continuing to excel, 632 members. Yep. So we have some, so when we do the mid-year budget or when we do the budget workshop, they've asked for a couple new pieces of equipment just to kind of refurbish. It's been a few years, and the budget workshop will be coming up here in the end of May, beginning of June. So I'll work with the directors on what day. Usually we do it as a special meeting. So we can work it out. Maybe if you guys have any other reasons for a special meeting, kind of maybe coordinate the two.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Director of Facilities.
Unfortunately, Floyd was not able to join us today, so I will be providing his report. The Taxiway Alpha lighting project, it does say rehabilitation. It is our lighting project. Mobilization begins on May 13th, and then ramp construction will begin on May 20th. So we will have a portion of Charlie closed. We are ensuring that we will have ramp access available. So the tenants of buildings 70 and 71, as well as any aircraft passing through, will be able to work around the construction. That will be May 20th through 24th. And then the rest of the project will be on a pullback. So Taxiway Alpha will remain open during the project. And it's anticipated the project will span approximately 6 to 8 weeks. The Roper Water Main Improvement Project, I will be the first to say I'm happy to be able to read this one. The certificate of substantial completion was issued on April 30th. Yay. Water lines and all hydrant and services are now active. And we've just got a couple punch list items that they're working through. We're hoping to have those done within the next 30 days. For our hydraulic model, the outstanding building data has been collected, and Mead and Hunt will begin to update the preliminary model once the data has been reviewed. And we had some lessons learned, we'll call them that, during our Roper Water Main Improvement projects. So we'll ensure that those are incorporated into the revised model. Floyd mentions in here as well that a 6-inch auxiliary water main valve affecting building 65 is scheduled for shutdown and repair on May 10th. And the impairment will extend to hangar 63, 13, and 78, and we will ensure to make appropriate notifications. Also, we as I can personally attest to, it has been weather has been very friendly towards weed growth. I realize now how that says once I emphasize that out loud. Vegetation growth.
I hear they're growing a lot of weed out
That's
there.
right, yeah, we're-
If anybody needs me, I will be under the table for the rest of the meeting.
I didn't take it that way.
But
We have weed.
Yeah.
tumble vegetation growth. I'm trying now. Oh gosh. And snow. It snowed over the weekend at my house, which I am personally offended by. So we will be knocking down the vegetation, replacing extra attention on the rail spur and of course on the airfield, in preparation for our upcoming inspection. I think that's everything I have on that one.
Yep. What inspection? Who does it?
Caltrans. Yeah, it's for GA.
I got a,
Well, they should understand that weed.
I've got a facility maintenance question. Previously, when I brought this up, the previous general manager, facilities director, we looked into this, and it always seemed to be someone else's responsibility. I don't want to. I'd like to open this up, I guess, and inquire. We could look at is the crossing where the railroads cross Inyo and or Belshaw, yeah. But especially the one at Inyo, it's really tore up. It's our pavement, it's their rail, and it just seems like not that. It was like all the cracks in the taxiway. There's no big deal once we decided on how we were going to fix it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it came up with a method that worked better.
Yeah.
And
Floyd-
spur to the airport.
Yeah. So Floyd did, I know he got quotes for that, so that'll probably come into the bridge workshop. They wanted to finish the water line over on that side, so then that way, if we're doing any pavement repair, we can do anything with the water line as well as with the rail at the same time.
Okay, so my recollection that it's the railroad responsibility, not ours.
No, it's ours.
Okay.
It's our spur.
Yeah,
So-
I just didn't get it done.
Yeah, nope, it's our spur. So that'll be coming in budget workshop as well. I'll make sure Floyd pulls that quote out.
The oleander can turn off of Belshaw into the whole end of it. It's really tall. And it's hard
On
to
one
see.
side.
And if you're coming up, and you will be through there, and your light will get your really turn off. But anyway, so I'm very into it. But I'm just looking with the oleander, maybe I was wondering, it's the
Yeah.
coming down to the line, on 18, possibly even a lot of that.
Very, very good comment. I spoke to Floyd just a couple days ago about trimming those because they were trimmed on the side that had the park, but not on the north side of it.
Yeah.
And he said that was just some kind of oversight. We apparently contracted with them to only cut one side of the street.
They need to be a lot more. We addressed that.
Well, we almost killed them previously.
Oh, if you don't water it, I know Leander.
I was gonna say, I heard the word
Anyway,
oleander, and
so
I'm like,
I
oh,
think
Jim's
we're all in
voice got a lot
agreement.
higher.
We love our oleanders, and that's a very good comment. I appreciate that because,
For safety issues, they should be
Yeah, right.
lower. There actually is a walkway on the other side of that. And I think vehicles and pedestrians, I don't know if it's used, but maybe it's,
I used it recently.
Okay.
And noticed, that's why I was talking to Floyd, because none of the weeds have been cut in that park.
they should be, those should be taken down so you can see, probably down to 4 foot. And oleanders will grow. You give them water, they'll grow where you don't want them to grow. And they'll grow a foot or two in a year, easy. Wow. Sometimes 3 or 4 feet.
So it sounds like it's on the agenda.
Well,
Anyway.
I hate to bring it up to Floyd, but yeah, there's some sore spots with the owner, but
I assume that's what you meant when you said we're going to address this. It includes trimming.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
not this company.
there is a lot. It is a lengthy list. With the amount of rain that we've been getting, the vegetation has tried to take over. So we're working through it.
Especially where it's a safety concern.
Absolutely.
We could put a parabolic mirror up there and blow up.
Especially when we've had this week.
So I had a director of facilities questions. So with the hydraulic water main, or sorry, with the water main improvement, how much closer does that get us to being able to develop Haggard?
I'm not entirely sure. I can add that to my list, and that's a Floyd Anna Lynn question. I got into, I think I just started talking about the hydraulic modeling a month and 7 days ago. So I haven't heard exactly how it's been tied into yet, but I'll check and see if I can get some more information on that.
Good point is they should include provisions for that additional hangers in the model. There is fittings installed in new pipe provisions for spurs or whatever you may want for the new hangers.
Excellent.
So it's, we just have the foresight not to have to dig up and cut the pipe and buy the fittings and.
Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, it was my high level understanding at the very least that a part of why we couldn't actually break ground or do any more tangible movements or no, I appreciate the point you brought up, but this was a big barrier. Yeah, this was a big barrier to actually being able to dig.
Yeah, is the old one been removed?
No. It's abandoned in
It's
place,
abandoned, I believe.
but now it can be abandoned, right?
Well, there was some concern.
I thought they insisted on removing that one.
Exactly. I know Rick and I were both like, why can't we just leave it there? It's been there all along and
Fill it in with concrete.
it's got,
Yeah,
But-
let me double check with Floyd.
because I don't recall seeing that being trenched across the middle of that area.
Same, right? So
I
again,
don't either.
level of questions then is one, can that line be decommissioned? And then two, is decommissioning abandoned in place or dig up and remove? And then,
Yeah, we
Get
thought that
going,
was in the contract
Mhm.
for the water.
And I think the hydraulic thing is a little bit different in the scope of the whole airport with water. The water line with the roper one, that was the one that was holding us up for the.
I said hydraulic, that's the word that
Okay.
came out of my mouth because I was thinking water. It's a really similar word and that's what I was reading, but it's not what I meant the
Okay.
slightest. But I appreciate how that derailed
There's
things.
two concerns. One is, I think they billed us to do that. So if they haven't done it, we'd like a refund or.
Yeah,
Whatever,
let me
like-
verify with Floyd. Because we don't have any meeting on the call.
No.
Okay.
New hang.
We did that.
Well, no, the concern is the old pipe, the impetus for doing it in the first place.
Right. A sufficient way is to fill it in with
You can't just
concrete.
cut it off and reroute it. We need to dig up the old one and fill it away.
Right. Well, to me, digging up things, you're going to create some unstable ground. Where why don't you just fill it up with concrete and then you don't have to worry about that. That's my independent civil engineering expedition.
Yeah.
Fill it in with concrete, leave it alone. Don't dig it up.
Like I said, Director Coleman and I were like, this seems like an unnecessary expense. And they were like, no, we think it's best to take it out. So the concern is, I don't think they did that, but if the contract, my recollection is that.
It goes right under the hangar, the new hangar space, right?
Right, and I'm kind of leaving it there, but I think we paid to have it removed, so.
Correct.
Here's whether we should figure that out.
Absolutely.
Either
Let me
not pay
check
for it or
with
take it
Floyd.
out or-
Yeah, one of the two. One of the two.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. Still your floor.
Still
Carry
my
on.
floor. Okay. So speaking of hangars,
Yeah.
hangar development update. So I met with Lindsay Gibson from Local Equity. A lot of it was still catch up as I get caught up on some of these projects and listening to some of the hurdles they've been facing with development, such as permitting, working with the county, things along that nature. And so worked with Lynn to game plan and work on a path forward with the project, one that would help them. We're hoping that being able to provide some of the stuff that they're working and they're paying extra for will reduce their buy-in costs, which would then reduce the cost of the hangars. They don't have a final idea of what that cost would look like yet. They're not able to provide that as the project continues, but we're hoping that we're able to provide options, opportunities, and information that will help move this forward. For the inspection that we had mentioned earlier, Caltrans Division of Aeronautics will be coming out this month to conduct their airport master record update and state permit compliance inspection. This is an inspection that happens every year. We're anticipating either May 15th or May 28th. We're hoping May 28th, but it is weather dependent. For our operations count, our total operations count for the month of April 2024 was 1,273 operations, down from 1,525 operations in April 2023. We did have frequent high winds and adverse weather that may be a contributor to the flight count decrease. I do know that we had a lot of scheduled testing operations that unfortunately had to be canceled due to the high winds. One thing that didn't get canceled, and we are jumping for joy, is the Global Airlines A380 departed April 30th. The founder of the airline showed immense appreciation and gratitude for the airport and our continuous support during this transition. He was very grateful to us. He wrote us a huge thank you letter. So we are happy to help as they progress. But we are more happy that the A380 is gone.
Did the gear go up?
It did not. It flew gear down to Scotland.
I saw it take off.
Scotland.
Oh, man.
I sent flight radar to Diane, and
Yeah.
I don't remember it being up.
No, flew gear down to Scotland.
Hey,
How long have we had?
Oh yeah, did make one stop in
What's that
Montreal.
limit the speed to? Yeah.
It was pretty slow.
Oh, I wonder if it limited their altitude too.
It did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's some poor person in like Kansas that's just outside working on their yard, and it's just 380 cruising
Well, they
by.
probably gotta use the Bentley side.
Yeah.
How
So
long have we had for the new AESB accountant?
2 months. 2 months.
At the next meeting, can you give us a summary or some stats?
Absolutely.
Over that time period?
Absolutely.
That'd be good.
And I did provide some of the statistics in your packet as well for the last 30 days. It gets very detailed. I'll just send you the whole
Well,
thing.
or could you tell us so that the community gets?
Absolutely. All right. So
That was my intent, because I
Oh,
think it's
okay.
good information to share to get some feel for what goes on here.
All right, so single engine operations, we had 865
Over what time period?
over 30 days in April. Single engine turbine operations, we had 84. Multi-engine operations, we had 50. Multi-engine turbine operations, we had 91. Business jet, we had 83. I don't know what a Jet 4 is.
Roman numeral form?
No, it just says Jet 4. Whatever a Jet 4 is, we had 3 of them. 21 helicopter operations, 69 helicopter, and 6 light sport aircraft. And somewhere in there was 1 Airbus A380.
Question, if an airplane takes off and departs the area, that's one operation. If it returns the same day, that's 2 operations.
Correct.
But if it's a planing where they go up and down the runway 20 times in one flight, they take off, other taxi around and come back and park, that's one operation or 2?
I'd have to see exactly how Bird Tower counts it. Previously, it was considered 1 operation per every time the wheels touch the ground in any capacity.
So touch and goes would count as separate,
This separate.
right, operation, okay?
I'll double check how Bird Tower counts it.
How hard do we have to bounce a landing for it to be 2 operations?
Please tune up for Miss down our runway. She's an old girl.
Hypothetically.
So we encourage touching.
If we get some good like short takeoff landing, we'd probably get quite a few though. 0. Nice. Or if you're really good at cross state Europe, please don't do that. Anyway, so the Airmanship Foundation and the Mojave Transportation Museum are looking to bring back the Mojave Experimental Plane on October 18th and 19th. Like previous events, Mojave will provide air traffic control tower support, the use of the event center, and a fuel discount. In exchange, the district will be promoted and have a higher than normal fuel sales from the anticipated, I was told 90 plus aircraft, but we're anticipating a lot more. That number is rapidly growing. That will be participated in the experimental flying.
What are the dates for MEFI this year?
October 18th and 19th. So that is all.
Just the one where we do the flower bomb job?
Yeah.
We did before, right? That was the same.
Please no seeds. We have enough things growing.
I could go pets. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay, and that was all I had.
Thank you. We don't presently have any board committees.
Well, we're gonna possibly meet with one of the applicants Friday.
Right.
Date and up to
Don't say.
Don't say.
okay.
Thank
Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. It's like.
Okay.
You're just fine, just fine.
Director comments on items not on the agenda.
Question, how's the blowing dirt affect? Is it bad?
It's not been terrible.
Well, that's good to hear. 7 miles an hour, and 60 to 67. Usually, you get the tenants with that, you're facing, and we complain with it.
Oh, fortunately, I don't know if it's because we've had so many, it's already leaf blower the airport for us.
Okay.
And
No, I
but
just was
fortunately,
curious.
I haven't heard any rising complaints about
Any
it.
roof problem?
Yeah, one
Oh,
air
man.
conditioner problem, but that was repaired pretty quickly.
Yeah, okay. Yes, okay.
Air conditioner tried to go on an adventure
Mhm.
in one of the winds.
A good touch and go?
Yeah.
One of the vehicle doors, we did have an incident with it.
Oh, we did have an incident with the
Getting
vehicle
blown
door.
open The other way.
That's the loan process. You only to the loan.
Yeah.
You just leave the uncle.
Yeah.
Any other director comments? I'd just like to say, as we all probably do, sad to see Dick Chan pass. He was a valuable member of this community. He was a former board of director, flight instructor. I took instruction from him many times. Great instructor. Customer. Yeah. Right? We had many entrepreneurial businesses here on the airport. Very interesting points. Alternative power plant integration.
I
Like that.
remember when Bert and Dick, I guess the first setting up meeting in garage in Hobby Gardens, did they do that? I remodeled the radio shack that I was in, and I had a bunch of that 8-foot square lighting. And I said, here guys, take as much as you want.
Oh.
But my mind says, Bert, I think, lived in Hobby Gardens, and we were setting up a garage. Anyway, so custom at many times. I worked with him quite a bit with Don Litsky. We did the communications for the Around the World Voyager supplement set up there before. Good man.
The most popular question asked when he gave a presentation on the Voyager world flight. You know what it is, right? And everyone always asks this question, 9 days in the cockpit, how'd you go to the bathroom?
Doesn't sound healthy.
Okay. So, we're done with item 6. Now we're going into closed session. For those of you online, we'll put you in the waiting room, and if you'd like to return afterwards, Mr. Nave will give a closed session report. Chair.
Yeah, forward whatever you want to the ctcoleman.com one.
Oh, right. Okay, and the proposal. Yep.
Yep. Great, thanks.
We're back in and recording is on.
Okay. Mr. Nave, if you would give a closed session report.
Yes, so for existing litigation, council gave the board an update on the status of Walton versus MASP. For real property negotiations, the board gave direction to the acting CEO and general counsel regarding the license fee for Jet Zero. And in labor negotiations, council reported on the status of negotiations for the CEO position. No action was taken and no other items were discussed in the closed session.
Okay, thank you. So with that, meeting adjourned.
Thanks all.